Joining us now from Kiev is Ambassador Yanez Lenarcic. He is the director of the OSCE Office for Democratic Institutions and Human Rights. Thank you, sir, for joining us on the show. Now, given the security situation in Donetsk, as Nick was just saying there, the OSCE has pulled their election monitors out of that particular area. Now, this, of course, highlights the security situation in the country at the moment. Was it wise, really, to hold the presidential elections now?
Well, we have more than 1,000 observers throughout the country, with the exception of those parts of the Donetsk and Luhansk Oblast where armed gangs are roaming around and trying to disrupt the process. There are many challenges in organizing the vote there. But those are, as I said, in just parts of two of the regions. Elsewhere, we are following the process very closely today. This is a very important election for Ukraine. It is a chance for the country to overcome the crisis that has evolved since last November.
I just want to go back to the issue in the east. Now, if these pro-Russia groups are successful in their threat of trying to disrupt the polling in that particular area of the country, how valid then can you say this election will be?
Well, this is not for us to ascertain the validity or legitimacy of the elections. What is our role is to observe the process, and we are going to do so throughout Ukraine, except in few areas where, as I said, there have been disruptions. We have noted in the previous days systematic targeting of election administration, of pressure and intimidation on some voters and on some members of the election commissions. These people who are doing that are essentially denying one of the primary democratic rights to the citizens of Ukraine, and that is the right to vote. The government, the Central Election Commission, and this, have been trying to overcome these challenges, and I would particularly like to pay tribute to those members of election administration bodies who have shown courage and have proceeded with the preparation for this election.
Indeed, there's a lot of courage and a lot of bravery in Ukraine at the moment, but really, how can you call this election being fair if some people or some parts of Ukraine are too intimidated to go to the polling station?
Well, you see, those areas that are affected in this way are relatively small part of the country. You see, if there are certain groups, armed groups, that try to deny the right to the voters there, the response is not to deny the voting rights to everybody else. So the government, as I said, and the Central Election Commission are trying everything to conduct this process in a proper manner. There have been a lot of effort throughout the country in the field to cope with these challenges. We will observe all those proceedings over today, and we will report in detail about what we have observed tomorrow.
Now, Mr. Lenarcic, it wasn't that long ago when members of the OSCE were abducted and held against their will as well, and yet the organization still maintains a presence in Ukraine. Just explain to us why you are there.
We are here because we were invited by the government of Ukraine. Government of Ukraine, as a participating state, member state of the OSCE, has committed to invite international observers to observe their elections. We have received invitation. We have come in large numbers in what is one of the largest observation missions ever in OSCE, and our role is to assess to what extent this election will meet OSCE and other international standards for democratic elections.
All right, sir, thank you very much for joining us on the show. Ambassador Yanez Lenarcic there, the director of the OSCE Office for Democratic Institutions and Human Rights, speaking to us from Kiev.